Exciting.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Attention visionaries and pioneers, the future of wealth is here, and it's spelled B-I-T-C-O-I-N, Bitcoin. Introducing the exclusive Loans for Bitcoin program at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where your good credit unlocks 0% interest loans for up to 2 years, or term loans up to $250,000 spread over 7 to 12 years. Why wait? Use this capital to acquire the world's fastest appreciating asset, Bitcoin. With prices hovering around 94,000 and projections aiming much higher by the year's end, the time to act is now. Leverage isn't just for Wall Street anymore. Arbitrage the low cost of your loan against Bitcoin's explosive growth. It's smart finance for the modern investor. And privacy matters. Our no KYC Bitcoin purchase program ensures you buy and self-custody your assets in your own wallet. Your keys, your Bitcoin, your future. And as the world shifts to digital currencies, be ahead of the curve. Front-run corporations, governments, in this greatest financial revolution of our times. I'm Jay Bose, CEO of Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club. Call or text us today at 941-413-6920 and get started on that loan application. Secure your legacy. You will thank yourself tomorrow.
And we are live. Good morning, everyone. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world, ex-truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben. Today is a day that we have been working towards for months now. We are not here to play in the old system. We are here to replace the old system. The old system is corrupt. The old system is structured so that the wealthy get more wealthy off of your labor and your time. The new system is actually so you actually gain wealth and you hold your own labor value, and your labor value is added to through the collection of labor value of everyone in the network. Now, let me explain what that means. Is we all own, hopefully, a little bit of Bitcoin. And every time that Saylor or JP Morgan or any wealthy person goes out and buys a shit ton worth of friggin' Bitcoin, that value, that labor value of that currency is injected into the network. And if you own a fraction of that network, your fraction is amplified. And that's why I've always said that's what this is. It's an energy amplifier. That's what the blockchain, that's what the actual Bitcoin structure is it amplifies value. Each time that the price of the Bitcoin goes up $1, that means it's amplified 21, or right now about 9 million, about 19,800,000 and something right now. So $1, if someone purchases an actual Bitcoin at $1 higher than the price was. The overall, what we call the market cap, goes up by 19,800,000 and something thousand because it's an amplifier. Everyone who adds $1 adds 19 million and some change dollars worth of value to the overall network. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why Trump is actually doing what he is doing, because everyone except, shout out Jeff Booth, everyone isn't wrapping their heads around what's going on right now. We are shifting not out of the old system and into a system of equivalent value. We are shifting into a new system that is a value amplifier. So all of the human value right now is getting shoved into a system that everyone who shoves in $1, it's amplified, whatever, 19 million, whatever. So, and this value holds its energy because it is a fixed supply. Think of it like this. Think of the Bitcoin as a balloon. All right. And the price is the size of it. Well, there's oxygen everywhere. I'm breathing it. You're breathing it. He's breathing it, but it isn't concentrated into a fixed system. The system is the balloon. So as I breathe it, because initially Satoshi Nakamoto used proof of work and he blew in a little energy into this little balloon. It was little bitty back then. Wasn't worth really nothing. And then he kept blowing into it. Then here comes other people who are blowing energy into this balloon. And it's slowly getting bigger and bigger. Remember, size is price.
Market cap.
Right. Every day, and this is what people really need to look at. If you want to look at what will really show you how quickly this is moving, look at new wallet creation. New wallet creation will give you a relative level of adoption, because those new wallets are people blowing into the balloon. And now we have a balloon that's worth trillions of dollars, which, remember, the size is the price. Right? Oh, thank you. Oh,
Thank you, Jody. Thank you very much.
now that's service. And as the size gets bigger, we are removing air that we are proof of work breathing inside. We're using energy to breathe it into our lungs, processing, hashing out the oxygen, and exhaling into the balloon. Well, as we do that, we are bringing the overall energy of oxygen into a fixed system that has no leaks. We aren't changing oxygen into something else. We are at, and actually think of the oxygen as energy, monetary energy. As we work, we are blowing into this friggin' bubble that's getting bigger and bigger. Well, as more and more people are actually blowing into this huge growing bubble, it's getting bigger. And then you look at the pressure inside of the bubble. That's the network energy. The size is the value. The pressure is the network. And as it gets bigger and bigger, we are removing and putting in global energy into a fixed system. And what everyone needs to realize is every representation of value is attracted into the balloon. That's US dollar, that is gold, that is real estate, all of this. Everything that we value will be sold to inject monetary value into this new global network balloon. Because we've reached the point where the balloon is so big, it's blocking out the sun. And everyone sees it and goes, holy shit, that's a big balloon. That's the largest balloon I've ever seen in my life. But what they're really starting to realize is that this never pops. This is not a bubble. This is a balloon. It fluctuates. It grows. And everyone who has blown energy into that balloon can now inhale a little out of it. You can't inhale more than you put in, but you can use some of that energy when you need it. What am I saying? This is life support from a system that is dying. This is the new heart. This is the new lung of our society. And we're all going to reap the rewards of human innovation and human productivity. Mark my words, within the next 4 or 5 years, the global GDP will be valued in actual Bitcoin. Watch and see. No one's going to give a shit what the US GDP is. What they're going to look at is how many Bitcoin does America have? How much do they produce? How much do they mine? Because that's going to be the global level in which we look at productivity. Are they producing $100 million worth of actual Bitcoin? Or are they producing $1 billion? Those who produce the Bitcoin, and I'm talking US or China or whatever, those are going to be the richest countries in the world, because exactly like Trump said, the Bitcoin is the new oil. He who produces the Bitcoin makes the rules. That's the future. And what we have actually done here at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, we recently purchased our own friggin' bank. Yeah, we bought a bank. And now we have it set up. And I'm actually going to let Jay explain how it's all set up, because this is the future of the banks. See, it isn't that the problem is the banks. The problem is the system in which the bank uses. It's the unit of account that they use that allows the corruption of the banks. There's nothing wrong with lending unless you can print the unit of account. Then lending is absolutely corrupt. But if you actually base your lending and your banking on a fixed supply asset like the Bitcoin, it is an amplification of the value and labor value of the members of the bank. Because then everyone who is a member of the bank and using the lending and the leveraging of the bank, it's because all it is a network of opportunities. That's what a bank is. It's a place that has opportunities in it. It's a place you hold a store of value. And as Jay's going to explain, we've actually set up a system where you can actually get yield off of your Bitcoin while you still control your Bitcoin. Welcome to the future, folks. Jay, take it from here, brother.
Good morning, Ben. Good morning. It's good to be here.
That was a little long. But
No, I loved it. I loved the idea that this visual that you created of this balloon, and anybody who has a breath of freedom in you, we have the place where you can blow that breath and actually create, store, transfer, and own your own wealth. And you know, this is the future of money, Ben. Banks till now have been predatory. They have been non-transparent. They have been centralized. They have been completely throttling to the average person. So this network of innovation and creativity has only been available to the few, not to the many. And what Ben has done and we have done is, in the smallest of countries, in the tiniest of little banks, the battle that we have taken on is actually a global battle. It's against the IMF. It's against the Federal Reserve, neither federal nor reserve. It's against the BIS that holds your contracts. If you believe you hold your stocks, look again. You own a piece of paper. The actual contract runs through the BIS system. So this old way of banking, of preserving wealth, of transporting wealth, of valuing wealth, frankly, is changing. So let's get very specific. This is a really exciting day, folks. This is a really exciting day. Ben had talked about we acquired a credit union in El Salvador. It is going to be called the Private Key Bank. That's the name of our bank. And today we are happy to announce, Ben, that many of you who have already put your name on that initial 100 list, you will be able to enroll into the bank as our very first members. Only the first 100 people enroll as members, which means you have a voting right. That means your breath of freedom actually has a voting right. What this little bank will do, how this little bank will actually become the forerunner, the front runner to what Wells Fargo and Bank of America will probably do 5 years from now. Innovation is going to come from here. Sovereignty is going to come from here. Transparency is going to come from here. You as the founding members, the 100 first members who put a $5,000 deposit into your savings account in this bank will actually have voting rights. As we hold our quarterly and annual members meetings, you will have a right to vote on what our roadmap looks like, what are the kind of products we're going to bring to market, and how we should function. Everybody after that becomes a client.
Yep.
Okay? So that's the structure. So with that as a backdrop, I want to give you a few details as to what will happen over the course of the next few weeks and over the next 90 days. First off, we are very happy to announce that the acquisition is complete. We now are the formal owners of the Private Key Bank.
Yep.
So, yippee, Ben. Thank you. Yay. So that has been completed. So now the first step is Ben has to be voted in as the chairman, myself as the president.
Vote for me.
the current members of the board will have to vote. So it's a banking process. We are under the banking laws of El Salvador, which, by the way, allow Bitcoin to be kept as a treasury reserve in the bank. And we're going to go into that as we go through this program with some more details here. But the process of the change of ownership, it has to be published in an official registry. Other banks have to know that. There's a series of processes and filings that need to be done that take 90 days. But so 90 days is when the bank will formally be able to give out loans. However, the enrollment process starts today. It starts today. And the way you're not going to get a general URL, we are going to send in a private email to each one of you who has called in, and we have your list and names in order. Only the first 100 become members. Yep. Okay. Everybody after that becomes a client.
Yes.
Now,
go ahead. The reason I wanted it that way, because once we actually go public and advertise the actual bank, and there's going to be a flood of people who are like, wait, so what now? So I can earn yield on my Bitcoin, but I can remove my Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the reason I wanted to launch it on today on this show is because I want our viewers to actually be the first 100. I don't want someone who isn't really associated with our freedom movement. Like, oh, hey, I heard about this bank. I can get some yield. Well, what's it about? Oh, I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah. So we actually have about 55 names in our list. So there's still about 35 to 40 spots, I think, that are available for that first 100. So if you call that number where it says, Bitcoin loan, crypto, right at the bottom, 941-413-6920. Text that number right now with your name and with the byline which says, I want to be a member of the founding member of the bank.
Yep.
Right? we will get your name on that list with your email address. So what's going to happen after this show is we are actually going to send an email, private email, to all of the folks who want to become the founding members of this bank.
Yep.
And they will receive this link, which will say Private Key Bank Enrollment. And when you click that link, there'll be a clear set of instructions of all the information you have to fill out, because it is a bank, your driver's license, a copy of your passport, those kinds of details, right? It is going to directly upload into the back-end banking system, and it'll open your savings account and your checking account. So there'll be two accounts open for each person that goes through that enrollment process. You have to sign a couple of documents in PDF and upload it, and it'll receive the attachments. Now, once you have done that, you're going to click the next button, right? And you'll be able to see a wire transfer number. A wire transfer number that is for a U.S. bank, because we want to make it really easy for you guys first. And we want to get you started on this enrollment process even before the formal approval is done on October 1st. So you'll be able to send $5,000 is the minimum requirement to be a first 100 member. And there's a $250 one-time enrollment/membership fee for the whole year. It pays for the entire year because it's a credit union. And for a credit union, you're private. It's very much like a private membership association. No one gets this
privacy, baby.
Privacy matters. So this is, you pay a fee, a $16 a month fee technically, which will come out of the $250, which will go into your checking account, and the $5,000 will go into your savings account, right? And your savings account for the next 3 months and for ongoing is going to generate a yield. Hey, Bitcoin doesn't produce yield. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
We're going to be giving you a 4% interest rate on the money that's sitting there. And by the way, it's going to sit in Bitcoin so that as it appreciates in value, you're going to get that appreciation as well.
Bingo.
And so as you click that next button, you'll see that window. It'll say, this is the wire transfer information. It's a U.S. bank. Send it to that. If you want to pay with a credit card or a debit card, the $5,000 to open up your bank account, feel free to reach out to us at that same number, 941-413-6920, and let us know, and we will send you a Stripe link.
Yep.
A lot of people who have bought Bitcoin from us on the bulk purchase have used that kind of Stripe link. Same thing. The Stripe link is going to be sent to you. You'll fill out your credit card number. The money will get pulled out and sent to our bank account, right? Which will then be credited into your checking account and your savings account. Now, this is a really exciting thing that we are doing right now. We're giving our members the first dibs at becoming not only the founding members, the voting members, and getting this yield from day one.
Yep. So this is not advice, but it is. This is how you can actually earn yield on the actual Bitcoin using a credit card. Is you can actually pay with a credit card to launch your checking account and your savings account. And then that savings account is held in actual Bitcoin. And you actually make a yield off of that actual Bitcoin. And when you are paid out your yield, you're actually paid out in actual Bitcoin. This is the future of everything. Everything eventually will pay you out a yield in actual Bitcoin, because no one's going to want fiat. No one's going to be like, yeah, let me hold my savings in dollars. That's great. No. What we have created is the future. You'll see some of these come out in the next year and a half or 2 years, but we are going to be so far ahead of them. Good luck catching up because we move quick. This is the world's first fully backed Bitcoin bank.
And the reason we are able to move quickly is because we have taken the position that we are going to own the technology stack.
Yep.
This is kind of important.
This is seriously important.
So we have developers. We are developing the rails directly. And here's what you're going to be able to do, folks. When you put that money into your checking and savings account, you will be able to hold that money in hybrid ledger. So for the next 3 months, we are still a fiat ledger. But within 3 months, we're developing not only the wallet where the Bitcoin is going to be held, but that wallet is going to be integrated into the ledger system, the banking ledger system, which means when you open that website or that app, you're going to actually see this many dollars in fiat and that many dollars in your Bitcoin. You're also going to have both the option of auto conversion as well as manual conversion. So for example, when you open your checking account and you say, okay, I'm holding $50,000 in Bitcoin in my savings account, but I want to always have $5,000 in my checking account. And by the way, we're building the rails directly with MasterCard and Visa. So we will be able to issue you a debit card, which is accepted just like a fold card, just like anything else. It'll be the private key card, which will be accepted wherever MasterCard is accepted, right? That'll be linked to your checking account. So you can tell us, I want to hold no more than $5,000 in fiat. Even if I put a $50,000 deposit, it'll automatically cap the fiat at 5,000 and put the rest of it in your Bitcoin wallet. So that's called a hybrid treasury.
Yep.
No bank has it, right? Even though El Salvador has had the laws that allow banks to hold Bitcoin, the banks haven't for numerous reasons because they want to scam, continue to charge 28% interest rates, right?
Yep.
So now when you use your card, it'll keep drawing from your checking account. And when it falls below a certain number, you'll say, oh, by the way, if it falls below 1,500, automatically refill up my card back up to 5,000. It'll have the auto choice of doing that, and you'll be able to refill your card while the bulk of your reserves live in Bitcoin, earning yield. Now, step forward. That's our first phase that we're going to do over
I'm
the next.
so fucking excited.
Now, what we're also building is even more exciting. Ben, get ready to pee in your pants.
I already did.
This is really exciting. We now have our development team actually working not just on the store of value. The wallet is a store of value. It preserves. But what good is that value if you can't put stuff in and out of it? So we are actually starting to develop a merchant processing system that we will own. We will not need to use Stripe or PayPal or any of these other guys who can shut down because they don't like your politics, because you're a Canadian truck driver and Trudeau wants to freeze you and starve you to death, right? We will actually be building rails that we can deposit Bitcoins on our own merchant processing platform directly into the bank account.
Everyone asked me, why'd you launch this in El Salvador? Why didn't you do it in America? Because we have elections. And if right now we're safe, we got Trump. Well, in the future, what if we get another Biden?
Absolutely.
Hey,
they could shut out our rails, SWIFT.
Yep.
So understand something. All of banking works on SWIFT. So even when the Russian sanctions were made and the Russian Alpha Bank and stuff were shut down, they basically switched off SWIFT. So even if the Russians had all the money in there, they couldn't move it anywhere. It was frozen, right? If we build our own rails on Bitcoin, we can't be frozen.
bingo.
There's nothing you can do about it. The sound of inevitability is coming. And the banks, the traditional banks, are starting to hear it. But we are the only ones today who are innovating at that level
Yep.
Ben talked about banks being the hub of innovation. No, it's not just capital. Yes, capital is necessary for innovation, but we are actually starting to take the themes of freedom, of sovereignty, of distributed networks, of decentralization, and we are starting to code it. We're
Yep.
coding it because it provides transparency. You, as a founding member, you don't have to come and see, let me audit the bank's books. You can directly go
Yep.
on chain and
Yep.
see exactly what the bank has.
Yep.
You will be able, there's complete transparency in what we are doing. And this is a new day. This is a new way of banking. And these are the new bankers. That's not the stodgy guys. Okay. So we are starting to create in this tiny little country, there's a revolution happening, far bigger, far more important than any one of us can actually fully comprehend the extent to which this will have an impact.
Yeah, it's
If we pull this off, Ben,
if
and
it's
we
just
will.
if shit. I don't if.
There
I
you
do.
go.
We've already won because we have the technology. We just got to build it.
Yeah.
And that's what we've already really done a lot of it. And what we needed, and I will just be frank, we needed balls. That's what
Courage.
we needed.
We needed
Yeah.
courage.
We needed an truck driver who just maybe fucking batshit crazy enough to go, you know what? Fuck you, banks. I will take you on. Someone has to say fuck you. And I just happen to be that guy because I have zero fear because God gave me my freedom. God will help me hold on to that freedom.
Amen. And 20 years ago, I was at Ernst & Young building the general ledger system for Nations Bank. It used to be out of North Carolina, which got bought by Bank of America. And I'm sitting here 20 years later going, we're going to build a new kind of general ledger. It's going to be a hybrid general ledger, which integrates into crypto wallets.
Yep.
I mean, life is beautiful. It takes a whole turn.
Yeah,
right?
it's
And here we are.
This is a revolution of choice. You have to choose freedom. Let me tell you, have a promise. Everyone watching, this is on tape. You have a promise from me. I will not shut your freaking bank account down. I won't. It's unless you are trafficking children, then you're fucked. Right? This is about freedom. Without freedom, we're nothing. We're slaves. We are ants in a damn jar. We're nothing if we cannot move and we cannot achieve our individual goals. And this bank, it's why we called it the private key bank, because we're moving and we are creating a system that revolves around the individual. And we, as a bank, we will respect the rights of the individuals.
Correct.
We are the service providers. We serve our members and our clients. And the moment that we do not realize we're here to serve is the moment I shut the fucking doors. Because when you realize that life isn't anything until you help someone else, you're lost. Once you realize that the reason you're here is to help someone else, That's when you really find out what life's about. I love what we do. I love it because we are helping people recapture and reclaim their freedom. And that's why we're all here. We at the Private Key Bank, we're unlocking your cell that you have been in a cell. You have been a slave to a system that has worked you on a rat wheel for your whole life. And the
Hamster wheel, yeah.
or rat race, hamster wheel, whatever you want to call it, that energy you've actually been put in, you think it's moving you forward, but you're just in a cell.
Yeah.
And that wheel is generating electricity that goes out of your cell and into someone else's pocket.
Now, you want to hear something that's going to make you love the notion of service with the clubs even more?
Oh, thank you.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Here's what's going to happen, guys. Now, don't think of this as some bank just in El Salvador. You see, as we build this merchant processing platform, every one of our clubs, every one of our locations is going to become a bank teller. It's going to say Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club and Private Key Bank. So you will be able to come in to any one of our locations, to our Dallas location, our St. Louis, our Mar-a-Lago, our Las Vegas, Nashville, Boston, Sarasota. And by the way, Ben is accelerating the rate at which we're going to open. We're going to open at least 10 per year over the next 3 years. We'll have 30 locations across the country. That's our target, right?
Yep.
These locations are going to become bank teller locations. So in each one of these clubs, there's going to be a little bank teller where you can come in, you can put your card down, say, I want to deposit $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000 or 5 Bitcoin or 20 Bitcoin. I want to withdraw from it. I want a checkbook. I want to take a loan. All of those services are going to become available right at our physical locations across the country and across the world. That's not it. That's not just the end of it. There's more.
And if you act now, you get 2 for the price of 1.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Not only that, once we have that processing system, we are actually working with a very innovative point of sale, Bitcoin point of sale. Now, when I go to El Salvador, every single papusa guy on the street has a little calculator-sized device where he plugs in the price, is at $3.25, and it spins up a little QR code. You just scan it with your phone and hit your Lightning wallet, and off you go. You pay that guy on the street. This is not complicated. We have to go through so much hassle for our clubs to just collect membership. We have to go through all kinds of brain damage with merchant processor. Well, every one of those clubs that we have is going to be on our own system. We will be able to take your money from Bitcoin, your membership, your, whatever, directly onto our Lightning wallet. So the next layer, in about 6 months, we're going to layer on the Lightning wallet integration so that you will be able to do peer-to-peer transactions directly through the bank. So understand how powerful this is, because today, if you had any remittances, if you were sending money to your family in Mexico or to El Salvador or to any part of the planet, you have to go to a Western Union, you have to go to a PayPal, you have to go to a Venmo, you have to go to a bank, a wire transfer, give all kinds of personal details, where you made the money, why you made that money, who are you sending it to, ID cards, all of that stuff. And they charge a huge amount of transfer fees. Western Union can charge 20%, 25% for transmitting dollars.
That's
so
crazy.
There is a whole world, folks, of unbanked people who can't afford any of this stuff, and they're cut out from the economy. You guys, the first 100 guys who are coming in as essentially sovereign members, you will shape what this bank will eventually do. Once we have fed our own members and we have given the yields and you have participated in that, we will open it to the unbanked. We will open it to the people who could never have their driver's license and passports verified. We're going to do it because it's freedom money, because it's sovereign. And we're going to give banking to millions of people in countries where they cannot receive. And this will become a big thing a few years down the road. But just like we did with Bitcoin purchases, we are front running. We are developing. We are growing. We are using nothing but the principles of freedom as our guiding light to build this system.
It's once again, this average truck driver is about 2 years ahead of everybody, at least. It's because I realized early that this was revolutionary. So I planned for the revolution. Everyone else was like looking at the price, waiting for the price to bring the revolution. I saw it completely different. The price reflected the revolution. It didn't bring it. It was the revolution. So as I saw it go up and up and up, all I saw was, we have a more valuable weapon.
Yes.
Oh, our weapon just got more valuable.
Yes.
Our weapon got more valuable. And I looked at it, if you really want to know where I really laid out the structure on all of this was the founding fathers, because they realized they'd have to shift into a completely different system from London. Because if they had the same system as London, then London could easily infiltrate their system and corrupt it again. That's why we went with silver and not gold.
Yes.
It's why we have inches. It's why we have feet. It's why we have yards.
Absolutely.
Weights and measures are the foundation of a society and of a system of unit of account, because your weights and your measurements are the formula of value. And it has to actually be an honest 1 inch.
Yes.
If it's 1 inch and 1/16 of an inch, then you're like, then it's not an inch. It's an inch and 1/16. No, this is an inch. No, it's not.
And this is a battle. This is a war for freedom. With monetary. The battleground is El Salvador. And the weapon of choice is Bitcoin.
Yes.
And this is where this battle is being fought. And that battle is going to spread as more banks, as more partners, as more sovereign folks adopt Bitcoin. And that adoption goes from the 3% up to 80%, as it happened in the internet over the 20 years. Over the next 20 years, we're going to go from this 3.5% adoption in Bitcoin to 80-90% adoption in Bitcoin. And then the game changes completely. It completely changes because it is truly the death knell of the fiat system as we know it. And we are literally the petri dish in which this incredible freedom movement is starting right here, right now, with each one of you as being the members and participants in this battle.
Yeah, I mean,
so come join us.
Absolutely. It's, and that's why we have set it up like we have. So average people like you and me, average friggin' truck driver, we have a place. Plus, like I said, guys, there's a reason that I wanted to launch a bank. It's because we need people, and I'm not trying to brag, but we need people like me with my mindset who actually say, no, there's another option. Fuck you, Jamie Dimon, shove it up your ass. There's another option. There's an honest option here. Because really think about it. If you hit JP Morgan or Wells Fargo or wherever else you fucking go, you're just choosing from who you're going to let rob you. Let's see, who do I want to fucking rip me off? Well, I guess I'll go with Bank of America. They seem like they're going to be a pretty solid criminal.
Not to be outdone by Chase.
Yeah. We don't have to live like that. We can actually live in a system where you have lending, because that's what capitalism is based on. Capitalism is actually based on leveraging capital. That's what capitalism is. That's how you grow capital. And there's an honest system because now we have an honest money. And we're just the first to do it. Yeah. Gee, I wonder in the future, who's ever going to launch the first honest, real honest bank? You know what? I'll put my money on a fucking random truck driver from St. Louis.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sick and tired of watching someone work 40 years of their life and they hold their labor in a currency that's being devalued, and then they put it in a savings account that doesn't value it.
Correct. And then you have the bubble burst and the crash, and then the banks get bailed out and you're left with nothing.
Yeah.
So, this is, firstly, yes, innovation and change is not going to come from the people who created the problem to begin with. So it has to come from the truck driver. It has to come from the plumber. It has to come from the people who value freedom and the people who have suffered the indignity of what has happened in these multiple crashes, where every time the taxpayer money is taken and you bail out the same guys who caused this problem to begin with, while the little guy stays empty-handed. You mentioned about lending. If you understand lending, and we're going to look at it from the perspective of freedom, lending is directly tied to interest rates, and interest rates is directly tied to something called risk. So they sit down and they put a bunch of numbers in their calculator. They look at their credit rating. They look at this. They look at that. They see how many bills you paid in the past. And then they say, well, based on this kind of risk, your rate is going to be 27%, right? So that's predatory lending. It's completely predatory, because I can tell you, having been a small business owner myself, anytime your cost of capital, your weighted average cost of capital, WACC, is higher than 15%, 14%, 15%, you don't have a business. You are on a slow death by 1,000 cuts. End of story.
You're bleeding.
You're bleeding. There's nothing. And every small business owner out there is probably nodding their heads right now saying, it's right. So we want to create a structure where we can give out loans at rates where businesses can thrive, where people can thrive, not get predatory lending rates. And how do we do that? And by the way, there's some serious thought to why we want to do that, because there's a huge replacement market already there. See, I've talked to a lot of business folks right here, small business owners, who have essentially taken their receivables, future receivables, and borrowed against those receivables at crazy rates, 20, 25, 30, 32% rates, and they're getting killed. These people, if we went to them with half that rate, they would refinance all of those tens of millions of dollars of loan tomorrow.
Yep.
What I'm trying to tell you is we don't have a problem getting high quality loans and giving out high quality loans to good people at reasonable rates. How do we do that? The way you do that is you actually reshape risk itself. Well, wait a minute. I thought the only lever that a bank has is increasing or decreasing the interest rate based on risk. We are the first people who are talking about how do we reshape risk. So you have an asset, which is lead. And based on the risk of lead and the devaluing, we have a certain price, 30%. But if I was to take 20% gold and mix it in with that lead Now I have a hybrid alloy, an alloy that is a whole lot more valuable than lead, and it can actually increase in value as the gold value increases, right? Same story. We're actually going to be taking assets, traditional assets, homes, cars, loans, things. Think of all the things that you take a loan for, assets against which a loan is given. But what we're also going to do is a percentage of that total loan is going to be attributed to Bitcoin.
Yep.
The most valuable asset in the world, the asset that doesn't destroy, the asset that doesn't get flooded, the asset doesn't get rained on, the asset doesn't get hurt with an earthquake. It is that asset that Michael Saylor talks about. We're going to take the most valuable of all assets known to humankind, and we're going to blend a part of that into that loan structure. What have we just done? We have delevered, we have reduced the risk of this hybrid asset. It is these hybrid assets that we're going to be able to give loans out on, fundamentally shifting the way we think about risk management and risk shaping.
Yep.
And by doing that, something phenomenal is going to happen. The people, the good people, the sovereign people who are taking those loans will be able to take more money back to their families. They'll be able to pay down the loan. And when they complete paying back the loan in its entirety without defaulting, there's going to be a reward. Because remember that little gold, that the little Bitcoin that was mixed in with this asset, that has appreciated in value.
And you get it back.
And
Bingo.
Effectively reducing your interest rate potentially down to zero, depending on how the mix is being made. So we're working on these completely innovative products that no one else has, no one else even talks about, and we are putting them in contracts and getting the banking board to approve these hybrid loan products that we are creating as derivative loan products.
Let's all think about that. If you had a loan and you knew at the end of that loan that you got some friggin' Bitcoin that has been sitting there for 4 years that may actually be worth more
than the original loan.
The original loan? Are you going to pay off that loan? You're damn right you are. You'll sell a lung and be like, look, you won't sell it, you'll pawn it. Hold that. Because then as soon as you pay it off, or if when it reaches a point where the actual Bitcoin is worth more than what you owe on the loan, you could actually get a hold of us and look, I've run on hard times. Is there any way we can sell that actual Bitcoin and actually pay off our loan? Absolutely. You know why? Because we're not here to fucking hurt you.
Correct.
We're here to help you. And that's how we as bankers, which we got to come up with a new name.
Yeah, exactly.
And every time someone calls me a banker, I want to slit my own fucking wrist. But this is how we offer a product to our investors who are giving the loan. We offer them security, and we offer the person who's receiving the loan security.
And better rates.
And, right, cheaper rates with better security.
Correct.
That's what the old friggin' banking system never wanted to provide. They wanted to leverage it for their benefit. Well, we want to flip that on its fucking head and leverage it for your and our clients' actual benefit. Because as you grow, the bank grows. We don't want serfs. We don't want the members of our bank. We still got to come up with a new word. We don't want the members of our bank to lose money. We want every one of our members to get wealthier. And if we solely focus on helping them gain wealth with our programs, we're good.
We're good. We're definitely good. This is a really amazing opportunity to.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're 1 hour in. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, okay. We'll close it off.
Yep.
Well, now that we have announced that this is a really exciting time, folks, if you are in the top 100 people who want to become members of this credit union, the Private Key Bank, it's called Private Key Bank, please call that number on that screen, get your name in, put that $5,000 deposit, and get your savings and checking account opened. It's really important. And Ben, of course, now that we made it public, we better get some private security when we go to El Salvador, because I can tell you the other banks are not going to be happy that we're going to take away all of their business with better rates and reshaping. So we're excited to bring this to you. This is about freedom at the end of the day. This is a bank that will represent sovereignty, transparency, freedom, and trust. So be a part of this revolution. It is exciting.
Yes.
And we look forward to certainly getting you enrolled.
This is what I want you to do. I want you to call 941-413-6920, or you can text, and we will send you the information, or our people here will actually talk with you. They'll walk you through the process. And it's you are choosing the revolution. You're joining the revolution. Like all of my marketing says, join the new rich revolution. Because that's what this is. You're telling the crooked banks, fuck you, I found a new place. And it's with people who value my freedom and value my labor value. All right, guys, give us a call or send us a text at 941-413-6920 and open up the very first account at the very first bank that is fully backed by Bitcoin. Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations to you.
Everyone, have a great day. I love you guys, and power to the people.
Attention visionaries and pioneers, the future of wealth is here, and it's spelled Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Introducing the exclusive Loans for Bitcoin program at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where your good credit unlocks 0% interest loans for up to 2 years, or term loans up to $250,000 spread over 7 to 12 years. Why wait? Use this capital to acquire the world's fastest appreciating asset, Bitcoin. With prices hovering around 94,000 and projections aiming much higher by the year's end, the time to act is now. Leverage isn't just for Wall Street anymore. Arbitrage the low cost of your loan against Bitcoin's explosive growth. It's smart finance for the modern investor. And privacy matters. Our no KYC Bitcoin purchase program ensures you buy and self-custody your assets in your own wallet. Your keys, your Bitcoin, your future. And as the world shifts to digital currencies, be ahead of the curve. Front-run corporations, governments, in this greatest financial revolution of our times. I'm Jay Bose, CEO of Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club. Call or text us today at 941-413-6920 and get started on that loan application. Secure your legacy. You will thank yourself tomorrow.